Hello, seniors. I am Dr. Robert Harrison. Have you ever felt so bloated, so full of gas, with such heaviness in your abdomen that you simply couldn't live in peace? That horrible feeling that your belly is going to explode at any moment, that you're carrying a brick in your stomach, that no matter what you do or don't do, nothing solves it. There are people who spend days, sometimes entire weeks, with this terrible feeling that steals their energy, good mood, willingness to do anything. And even the nights of sleep that should be restorative, it's a silent problem that affects millions of people around the world, especially those over 50 or 60. When the bowel naturally starts to get slower and sluggish, it becomes an everyday worry, a constant thought that doesn't leave you alone. I ate this and it made me sick. Why has going to the bathroom become a losing battle? Will I ever feel light again? It's a silent torment that many people suffer in silence. Ashamed to talk about it, ashamed to ask for help. Ask. Many people desperate for a solution end up seeking quick fixes that end up being much worse than the original problem. They hear about miraculous apple cider vinegar, super aggressive laxatives that promise to solve everything overnight, powders and teas that swear to perform instant miracles. But most of the time, these methods only manage to further irritate a digestive system that is already crying out for help, that is already overloaded and needing care, not aggression. Or even worse, they create a cruel dependency that solves absolutely nothing and only increases frustration over time. The person takes the laxative, feels temporary relief, but soon the problem returns even worse than before, and they need increasingly larger doses to achieve the same effect. It's a vicious cycle that destroys gut health instead of recovering it. But what if I told you there is a completely different way to approach this problem? A solution to reactivate your bowel and help your body free itself from these waste gently, naturally, and lastingly. What if I told you that this solution involves no expensive medicine, no harsh chemical substance, no invasive or uncomfortable procedure? And what if I revealed that it's not about miraculous vinegar or strange potions bought in health food stores, but rather about using the water you drink every day in a very specific way, combined with some simple allies that are probably already in your kitchen at this very moment? Today, I'm going to share with you a method that has helped thousands of people, especially older adults, regain bowel regularity and say goodbye once and for all to the bloated belly, constant gas, and that terrible feeling of weight in the abdomen. And the most impressive thing is that many people start to feel a significant difference in just 2 days following this method. It's not magic, it's not a miracle. It's simply giving your body exactly what it needs to do the job it was designed for from the beginning. But before revealing this step-by-step method, I need to ask you for a very important favor. If you suffer from this problem, if your belly is always bloated, if gas causes you embarrassment, if going to the bathroom has become a daily struggle, leave your like on this video right now and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And do this for me. Comment down below where you're watching from and how long you've been suffering from this intestinal problem. I really want to get to know you and understand how I can help you even more with content that truly makes a difference in your health and quality of life. Stay with me until the end, because what I'm going to teach you today is not just a home remedy, it's a new way of understanding and caring for your body from the inside out. Before giving you the exact method that will transform your gut health, we need to demolish a gigantic myth that has caused many more problems than solutions in the lives of millions of people around the world. I'm talking about the famous colon cleanse, this idea that has been sold to us for years as if it were the definitive solution to all digestive problems. For decades, we've been made to believe that our colon is like a dirty and clogged pipe that needs to be unclogged with aggressive methods from time to time, as if it were the plumbing of an old house full of accumulated dirt. They tell us about toxins stuck to the intestinal walls that supposedly poison us slowly, causing everything from bad breath to chronic fatigue, headaches, skin problems, and an endless list of ailments. And to solve this supposed problem, they offer us everything. Expensive colonic irrigations, invasive hydrotherapies, laxative teas that promise to eliminate pounds of waste, detox supplements with fancy names and absurd prices. But the scientific truth is quite different from this story they told us. Let's be absolutely clear here, basing ourselves on what modern science really knows about the functioning of the human body. Your body is much smarter than these miracle solution sellers want you to believe. Gastroenterology experts around the world explain that this idea that the colon needs forced cleansing is largely a commercial myth created to sell unnecessary products and procedures. Your body already possesses an incredibly sophisticated detoxification system that works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week without needing any aggressive external help. And the true protagonists of this system are your liver and your kidneys, not your colon. These two organs are the real filters of your body, working incessantly to eliminate everything you don't need, processing toxins and sending them to be eliminated through natural channels. The colon, in turn, was designed for a specific function to absorb water and move waste towards the exit in a natural and rhythmic way. It is not a stagnant garbage dump, as they want to make you believe. The serious problem is that many of these so-called cleanses are actually violent aggressions against a system that needed care, not attack. A colon hydrotherapy, for example, may seem like a modern and sophisticated solution, but what it really does is drag out not only the waste that should come out naturally, but also your precious gut flora. These good bacteria living in your gut are absolutely essential for your digestion, for your immune defenses, and even for your mood and mental health. Recent scientific studies show surprising connections between gut flora health and conditions like depression, anxiety, and cognitive problems. When you eliminate these beneficial bacteria with aggressive procedures, you are literally sabotaging your own health in ways that go far beyond digestion. Furthermore, these procedures can dangerously alter the electrolyte balance in your body, something especially risky for people with heart or kidney problems. And all this for a benefit that most of the time is temporary or non-existent. And what about herbal laxatives sold as natural and supposedly harmless alternatives? Substances like senna and cascara sagrada really work. That's true. No one can deny it. But the way they work is by irritating the walls of your intestine, causing inflammation that forces the muscles to contract and expel the contents. It's like shouting at a tired horse to run faster. It might work once or twice, but over time, the horse gets exhausted and stops responding completely. Similarly, using irritating laxatives repeatedly causes your intestine to become increasingly lazy and dependent on these substances to function. You enter a cruel, vicious circle where you need increasingly larger doses to achieve the same effect. And without the laxative, your intestine simply refuses to function on its own. It's the opposite of a cure. It's the creation of a new disease, a dependency that can take years to reverse with much effort and patience. Even the famous apple cider vinegar, celebrated as a cure for practically everything in recent years, isn't the magic solution. They say it is. When it comes to gut health, although it may have some digestive benefits due to the acetic acid it contains, scientific evidence that it actually cleanses the colon or cures chronic constipation is practically non-existent. In fact, for many people with sensitive stomachs, reflux, or gastritis, apple cider vinegar can cause more acidity and irritation, worsening symptoms instead of improving them. It's yet another example of how seemingly simple and natural solutions can actually be harmful when used without proper knowledge. So, if the solution isn't attacking or forcing your colon with aggressive methods, if irritating laxatives and invasive cleanses do more harm than good, what exactly should we do to solve this problem once and for all? The answer lies in a completely different philosophy that will change your way of thinking about gut health. My philosophy when it comes to gut health is completely different from anything you've probably heard or tried before. And that's precisely why it works so well for so many people who had already given up on finding a real solution. My focus is not to cleanse, it is to support. It is not to force, it is to activate. It is not to attack a system that is already suffering. It is to give it exactly what it needs to start working again the way it was designed to work from the beginning. Think about this for a moment. Your intestine is not your enemy. It is not a defective machine that needs to be fixed with brute force. Your intestine is an incredibly intelligent organ that knows exactly what to do when it receives the right conditions to work. The problem is that modern life, with its processed food, lack of movement, constant stress, and inadequate hydration, has taken these ideal conditions away from your intestine. Our job is not to replace bowel function with external chemicals. It is to restore the environment that allows it to function on its own. My secret is not in any special product, in any secret formula kept under lock and key, in any expensive supplement you need to buy every month for the rest of your life. My secret lies in understanding the language of your intestine and using the simplest and most powerful tools that exist to communicate with it effectively. These tools are water, fiber, time, and movement. Four basic elements that nature has always offered us for free and which, when combined correctly, have the power to completely transform your digestive health in a matter of days, not weeks, not months, days. It sounds too simple to be true, I know. And it's precisely this simplicity that makes many people doubt at first. We are so used to believing that complex problems require complex solutions that we forget that sometimes the most powerful answer lies in the most basic things and what has always been right under our noses waiting to be rediscovered. So I want you to completely forget the idea of a colon cleanse. This word that carries with it the notion that something is dirty and needs to be scrubbed hard until it's clean. Let's replace this word with another much more appropriate and much more powerful one: reactivation, intelligent reactivation. Your intestine is not dirty. It is asleep. It is not clogged with imaginary toxins. It is slow because it lost the natural rhythm it should have. And just as you don't wake someone who is sleeping by slapping them in the face, you don't wake a sleeping intestine by attacking it with laxatives and invasive procedures. You wake a sleeping intestine gently with the right stimuli at the right time, respecting its time and natural process. It's a mindset shift that seems small, but makes all the difference in the results you will be able to achieve. When you understand that your role is to support and not force, everything changes. You stop fighting with your own body and start working in partnership with it. You stop seeing your intestine as a problem to be solved and start seeing it as an ally that needs the right conditions to help you. This change in perspective is the first and most important step to break out of the cycle of frustration so many people have been trapped in for years or even decades. Because as long as you continue treating your intestine as an enemy, as long as you continue trying to force it to function through aggressive methods, you will continue reaping the same frustrating results as always. Temporary relief followed by even worse problems, dependence on external substances, and the constant feeling that your body is working against you instead of working in your favor. The good news is that when you change the approach, when you move from aggression to support, the results appear surprisingly fast. The method I'm going to teach you in the next few minutes is based entirely on this philosophy of gentle and intelligent reactivation. Each element was chosen specifically because it works in harmony with your body's natural processes, not against them. Each step was designed to send your intestine exactly the signals it needs to receive to wake up, move, and start working at the right pace again. There is nothing magical or mysterious about it. It's pure physiology. It's pure understanding of how the human body works when treated with respect and intelligence. And the most beautiful thing of all is that this method does not create dependency. Quite the opposite. The more you practice, the less you need it because your intestine will gradually relearn to function on its own, recovering the autonomy it lost over the years. It is a path of liberation, not slavery to yet another product or procedure. And it all starts with something so simple you probably won't believe it at first: a glass of warm water taken in a very specific way. Here is where everything starts to make sense, where theory turns into practice, and you finally understand why so many people get such impressive results with something seemingly so simple. Forget complicated medicines, forget secret formulas, forget expensive supplements. The heart of my method, the one I recommend especially for adults who feel their digestion has become slow and sluggish over the years, is of a simplicity that surprises even the most skeptical. It is not a magic potion. It is a technique, a morning ritual that works as the key that turns on your intestine's engine right in the early hours of the day. And here's the crucial detail most people don't understand. The secret is not in what you put in the water. It is in how and when you drink this water. The basis of the method is this: drink between 300 and 500 milliliters, approx 10-17 oz of warm water on an empty stomach, immediately after waking up before doing anything else. Sounds too easy to actually work, doesn't it? And yet, in this seemingly insignificant action are hidden extremely powerful physiological mechanisms that I'm going to explain to you now. Think of your digestive system during the night while you sleep. It spent hours in a resting state, slowly processing the last meal you had, working silently while you rested. Your colon during this period has already prepared the waste to be eliminated, has already done its part of the job, but now it needs a signal, a good morning that tells it that it's time to start moving and pushing everything towards the exit. That's exactly where warm water comes in as the protagonist of this intestinal awakening. The water temperature is not an unimportant detail. It is absolutely fundamental to the success of the method. Cold water, for example, can act as a shock to the stomach, causing muscles to contract defensively instead of relaxing. It's like getting a scare right in the morning. Your body closes up instead of opening up. Warm water, on the other hand, has a completely different effect. It relaxes, helps dilate the blood vessels of the digestive system, and softens the intestinal muscles, preparing them for the work ahead. The amount of water you drink is also not arbitrary. It was calculated to produce a specific physiological effect that is the key to the whole process. When you drink between 1 and 2 large glasses of warm water, something between 300 and 500 milliliters, with a completely empty stomach, you are gently stretching the walls of this organ. And this stretching is not just a fleeting physical sensation. It triggers something called the gastrocolic reflex. This reflex is basically a direct call from the stomach to the colon, a message that says, hey, new stuff is coming up here, we need to make room down there. This message causes contractions in the colon, movements called peristaltic movements that push all contents towards the exit. It is literally your intestine's power button, a mechanism that already exists naturally in your body and that you are simply learning to activate consciously and intentionally. Many people are impressed when they discover their body had this ability all along, just waiting for the right stimulus to function. The moment you perform this ritual is absolutely crucial and cannot be negotiated or adapted for convenience. Doing it on an empty stomach is not just a suggestion. It is a requirement for the method to work correctly. It is the only time of day when your stomach is completely empty with no food competing for space or interfering with the process. In this condition, water can pass quickly to the intestine and activate the gastrocolic reflex without any obstacles in the way. If you have your coffee first, if you eat anything before the water, the effect is lost almost completely because the stomach will already be busy processing other substances. That is why so many people try to drink more water during the day and see no results. It is not the total amount of water that matters. It is the specific moment and the way you consume this water that makes all the difference. Many people who adopt this morning ritual report feeling the urge to go to the bathroom between 20 and 30 minutes after drinking the water. It is the body waking up, responding to the signal you sent, returning to its natural rhythm of functioning. This simple habit, when repeated consistently every morning, starts doing something even more powerful than simply stimulating a bowel movement. It retrains your intestine. It teaches your digestive system a schedule, a routine, an expectation of when it's time to work. For older adults, whose intestinal transit naturally became slower over the decades, this ritual can represent an absolutely radical change in quality of life. It is a way of telling the body, it's daytime, time to wake up, time to move, time to eliminate what is no longer needed. And the most beautiful thing is that there is no dependency, no side effect, no risk. It's just water, just timing, just consistency. But I need to be honest with you, this is just the first part of the method. It is the spark that lights the fire. To keep this fire burning constantly and ensure lasting results, we need other supporting elements that work as a team with the warm water ritual. And the first of these powerful allies are dried prunes, but used in a way you've probably never tried before. Everyone has heard that dried prunes help the intestine work. This is nothing new. It is popular knowledge passed down from generation to generation for centuries. But what almost no one knows is that the way you use prunes completely changes the result you will get. Most people simply grab a handful of dried prunes, chew, and swallow, expecting the magic to happen on its own. And yes, this might bring some benefit, but it is far from harnessing the full potential this incredible fruit has to offer. My method is much smarter and much more potent. And I'm going to teach you exactly how to do it to extract maximum benefits from dried prunes in a way that will surprise you with its simplicity and effectiveness. The night before going to bed, take a glass and place 4 or 5 dried prunes inside. Cover these prunes completely with water, leaving the glass in the kitchen or next to your bed throughout the night. That's all you need to do before sleeping. It takes less than a minute. In the morning, after doing your warm water ritual and waiting those initial 15 to 20 minutes, go get the glass with the prunes that soaked all night. You will notice they are completely different from how they were the night before. Soft, hydrated, swollen, almost as if they had turned back into fresh fruit. Eat these prunes slowly, chewing each one well, feeling the smooth texture and the sweet taste that became even more pronounced after soaking. And here comes the part most people completely ignore and which makes a huge difference in the result. After eating the prunes, also drink all the water left in the glass overnight. Don't throw this water away. It is as important as the fruits themselves. Perhaps even more important, this dark water left in the glass is loaded with substances released by the prunes during the soaking hours. Substances that will work directly on your intestine in very specific and very powerful ways. Why does this soaked prunes method work so extraordinarily well? There are 2 main reasons that scientifically explain the power of this simple technique. The first reason is fiber. Dried prunes contain 2 types of fiber that work together complementarily: soluble fiber and insoluble fiber. Insoluble fiber is what adds bulk to the stool, giving it the size and weight needed to stimulate bowel movements and be pushed towards the exit. Soluble fiber in turn forms a kind of gel when it comes into contact with liquids, and this gel softens the stool, making it softer and much easier to eliminate without effort or discomfort. When you eat hydrated prunes, you are consuming these fibers in their most bioavailable form, easier for your body to utilize. But fiber is only part of the story. There is another even more powerful component hidden in these small wrinkled fruits. The big secret of dried prunes, the one very few people know, is a substance called sorbitol. Sorbitol is a type of natural sugar that has a very special characteristic. The human body cannot absorb it completely during digestion. This means that when sorbitol reaches your colon, it is still there intact, ready to do its job. And what job is that? Sorbitol acts like an osmotic sponge, attracting water into the colon through a natural process of osmosis. More water inside the colon means more hydrated, softer, more lubricated stools that slide much more easily towards the exit without causing that painful effort so many people know too well. When you soak prunes overnight, part of this sorbitol passes into the water, dissolves in it, stays concentrated in that dark liquid left in the glass. That's why it's so important to drink that water. You are consuming a concentrated dose of this natural laxative that nature itself created to help your intestine. I need to issue an important warning here because this natural remedy is really potent and deserves respect. I recommend starting with just 3 or 4 prunes the first few times to observe how your body reacts, how your intestine responds to this new stimulus. Every organism is unique. Some people are more sensitive than others, and it is important to discover the ideal amount for you without overdoing it right from the start. If 3 prunes already bring the desired result, great, keep that amount. If you need a little more, increase gradually until you find your sweet spot. The beauty of this method is that you are in control. You can adjust the intensity according to your need without relying on fixed doses determined by a pharmaceutical laboratory. But prunes are just the first of the allies that will work as a team to transform your gut health. There is another very common problem that plagues people with sluggish bowels, and that prunes alone do not completely solve: painful gas and constant bloating. For that, we have a second powerful ally I'm going to introduce to you now. One of the worst symptoms accompanying poor digestion and sluggish bowel is gas accumulation and that terrible feeling of bloating that makes you feel like a balloon about to burst. You know this feeling well, the distended, hard, painful belly gases that are sometimes noisy and embarrassing, the impossibility of wearing certain clothes because the waist simply won't close, the constant discomfort that accompanies you throughout the day and sometimes even during the night, disturbing your sleep. This happens because when waste stays in the colon for too long, it starts to ferment. The bacteria living in your gut feed on this stagnant waste and produce gas as a byproduct of this fermentation process. The longer the material stays put, the more fermentation happens, the more gases are produced, and the worse your feeling of bloating and discomfort becomes. It is a cruel cycle that feeds on itself and needs to be interrupted so you can finally feel true and lasting relief. This is where our second powerful ally comes in. A plant humanity has used for thousands of years to soothe digestive problems, and which remains as effective today as it was in antiquity. Fennel, also known as sweet cumin. The method of use is simple and can be easily incorporated into your daily routine without any effort or complication. Prepare a fennel infusion to drink during the day, especially after main meals when digestion is most active and gas production tends to increase. The recipe is uncomplicated. Add a teaspoon of fennel seeds to a cup of hot water. Cover and let rest for approximately 10 minutes so the active compounds are released into the water. Then strain and drink while still warm, enjoying the slightly sweet and refreshing taste this plant offers. You can drink 2 or 3 cups throughout the day, strategically distributed after meals to maximize the calming effect on your digestive system.